Erev Shabbat Shalom Rabotai. We are continuing with our Mishna Yomi Masechet Terumot. We are up to Perek Dal Mishnah Zayin. Today's Mishnah should be Le'ilun Nishmat Neria ben Svetlana Aranbayev and Eliyahu ben Bracha Israelov Menuchatam Began Eden. Amen. From Mishnah Zayin until the end of the chapter, the Mishnayot are going to focus on cases where Terumah became mixed with Chulin, which is non-Terumah. To give a slight introduction, Rabotai, on the laws of nullification, ordinarily, if prohibited dry food becomes mixed with permitted dry food of the same type, what we call yavesh biyavesh min bimino. For example, if a piece of non-kosher meat becomes mixed with pieces of kosher meat and we cannot tell them apart, all you need to permit the food is a simple majority. A simple majority of permitted food nullifies the minority of forbidden food, what we call chad bitre, arov, and all of the pieces are permitted. There are much more details brought down in Shulchan Aruch, Hilchot Ta'aruvot, chapter 109, halakha 1, for if a person can eat the entire mixture alone, and whether the mixture can be eaten at once. But you should know that this halakha is limited right here in the Mishnah to dry foods of the same type that were not cooked together. Liquid foods, different type of foods, or foods that were cooked together, what we call lach belach, or min b'she'eno mino, or if it was cooked with each other, those are generally subject to different rules. We'll speak about more in the chapter 10 of Masechet Terumot. Now, on a biblical level, midoraita, the same applies to terumah that falls into chulin. If the majority of the mixture is chulin, non-terumah food, it can be eaten by a non-kohen. The rabbis, however, decreed that the mixture is not permitted unless there is at least one part terumah in 101 total parts. If it contains a smaller amount of chulin, it is asur, it is prohibited. Such a prohibited mixture is known as meduma, which we said was a forbidden mixture of terumah with chulin. Additionally, even if you meet the ratio of at least one part terumah in 101 total parts, the mixture will still remain asur until an amount of produce that is equal to the amount of terumah that fell in is removed from the mixture. And the reason for this is, Rabotai, just to give an example, if one se'ah of terumah fell into the mixture, one se'ah of produce must be removed from the mixture. Now, the reason for this requirement is that terumah is regarded as the property of the kohanim as a group. Therefore, if the entire mixture would be eaten by a non-kohen, there would be a loss for the kohanim. This is how the Yerushalmi in Masechet Orlah, chapter 2, halakha 1, explains it. The Chachamim therefore decreed that the entire mixture remains asur until a portion equivalent to the terumah is removed from the mixture. The Rav says that portion is given to the kohen and is treated as terumah. The Mishnah now is going to bring a three-way machloket, a three-way dispute as to the ratio of chulin to terumah that is needed to nullify the terumah. Rabbi Eliezer says, terumah ola be'echad u'mea. Terumah that became mixed into chulin is nullified if there is one part terumah in a total of at least 101 parts of the chulin and terumah combined. For example, if one se'ah of terumah fell into chulin, the mixture must contain 100 se'ah of chulin to nullify it. Now, Rabotai, the Mefarshim explain the word terumah olah. What does it mean olah? The literal translation of the word olah is lifted. It's referring to the fact that the mixture is permitted after lifting out an amount of produce that is equal to the terumah. For the sake of simplicity, though, obviously we're going to explain it as nullified. So again, if the mixture contains a total of 101 parts, one part terumah, 100 part chulin, one se'ah of the mixture is removed and given to a kohen. The rest of the produce can then be eaten by a non-kohen. This is how the Rav explains Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yoshua says, b'mea ve'od, a more lenient opinion. The terumah is nullified even if there is one part terumah in a total of only 100 parts and somewhat more. Ve'od. Ve'od ze en lo shiur. And the Mishnah explains this somewhat more. This word ve'od has no minimum amount. Therefore, for example, if one se'ah of terumah fell into slightly more than 99 se'ah of chulin, the terumah is nullified. Same thing here, the Rav says. One se'ah is removed from the mixture, given to a kohen, and the rest of the produce is permitted to a non-kohen. Now, the Mishnah brings a third Tana that agrees with Rabbi Yehoshua that somewhat more than 100 parts is required, but holds that somewhat more has a minimum quantity. Rabbi Yossi ben Mishulam Omer, Rabbi Yossi ben Mishulam says, Ve'od, what does it mean, Ve'od? Kav lemea se'ah. The somewhat more mentioned is a kav, 1/6 of a se'ah, per 100 se'ah of produce. Shtut lamdamea. Therefore, the somewhat more, this ve'od, is 1/6 of the amount of terumah that forbids the mixture. Therefore, for example, if one se'ah of terumah fell into 99 se'ah of chulin, non-terumah produce, the mixture is asur, forbidden. There must be at least 99 se'ah plus 1/6 of the amount that fell, which in this case would be 1/6 of a se'ah of chulin, for a total mixture of 100 se'ah plus 1/6 of a se'ah for the mixture to be allowed. In other words, the Mefarshim explained, the Rav says, if one se'ah of terumah fell into at least 99 and a 1/6 se'ah of chulin, the terumah is nullified. One se'ah is removed from the mixture and given to a kohen, and the rest of the produce is permitted. And the Rav adds, if the mixture did not contain the minimum amount necessary for the terumah to become nullified, the mixture is what we call midumah, a forbidden mixture of terumah and chulin. The entire mixture has to be sold to a kohen at the price of terumah, which is lower than the price of chulin. And in addition, the value of the terumah that was mixed in, which belongs to the kohanim, must be deducted from the amount that the kohen is charged, which basically we're going to see later on in chapter 5, Mishnah 1, that you're selling it at a price of terumah, but the entire mixture, but you're also deducting the value of the terumah that was inside, because that belongs to the kohen. That is in Rabotai Mishnah Zayin. Mishnah Chet now continues according to the first view in Mishnah Zayin, which was Rabbi Eliezer, that he said it has to be mixed into at least, it has to be 1 part terumah and a total of at least 101 parts of chulin and terumah combined. If 1 part of terumah becomes mixed with 100 parts of chulin, the terumah is nullified, right? Like we explained. Now, obviously, just to recap, we just brought down a 3-way machloket to the exact amount of chulin needed to nullify terumah. But in our explanation, just using the Art School data, in this explanation of Mishnah Chet and the Mishnah that follow, we're going to be following the view of Rabbi Eliezer, who holds, like we just said, that the required ratio is 100 parts chulin to 1 part terumah, because this is the accepted opinion in a number of Mishnayot. Now, Mishnah Chet and Mishnah Tet are going to deal with cases in which 1 part of terumah became mixed with 100 parts of chulin, but the terumah that fell in is a different color, size, or shape from some of the chulin. Rabbi Yehoshua says, Te'enim shchorot ma'alot et halevanot. If white terumah figs became mixed into a mixture of white and black chulin figs, the black chulin figs joined the white chulin figs to nullify the white terumah figs. Levanot ma'alot et hashchorot. And in a case where black figs of terumah became mixed into a mixture of white and black chulin figs, the white chulin figs joined the black chulin figs to nullify the black terumah figs. For example, to make it easier, the Mefarshim give us an example. The mixture consisted of 100 figs of chulin, of which 50 are white and 50 are black. If 1 white fig of terumah fell into the mixture, all the chulin figs combined to nullify the terumah fig in a 100-to-1 ratio. After 1 white fig is removed from the mixture, the rest of the figs can be eaten. And similarly, if 1 black fig of terumah fell into the pile, the figs can be eaten after 1 black fig is removed from the mixture. The Mefarshim explain, since we know that the terumah fig is white or black, it would not seem logical to include figs of the other color in the count, since all of those figs are certainly chulin. Nevertheless, the Mishnah is teaching us they are all included, since if one would mash all 101 white and black figs together, it would be impossible to tell the figs apart. At that point, the terumah figs would be nullified in the 100 chulin figs. Now, even though they were not mashed at this point, the Rav says we view all the figs as if they were mashed together, and the terumah fig is therefore nullified. And the reason why the Chachamim allowed this is because the requirement that there should be 100 parts of chulin to 1 part terumah is only drabanan. Midoraita, by biblical law, if terumah falls into chulin, it is nullified if there's a majority of the mixture, if the majority of the mixture is chulin. Therefore, the Chachamim, the sages, allowed us to view the figs as if they were mashed together, and therefore the black chulin figs combined with the white ones to nullify the white terumah fig, or the one terumah fig that's in there. Now the Mishnah continues an example of terumah and chulin of different sizes. Right now we gave right now what it means, different colors, now different sizes. Igule dvela. If there is a mixture of small and large round fig cakes, in the time of the Mishnah, Mepharshim explained, it was common to press figs together in a round or rectangular vessel, therefore creating a fig cake. So again, if there is a mixture of a small and large round fig cake of chulin and a small or large cake of terumah mixed together, hagidolim ma'alim et haktanim v'haktanim ma'alim et hagdolim. The large chulin cakes join the small ones to nullify the small terumah cake, in a case where the small cakes of terumah became mixed in, and the v'haktanim ma'alim et hagdolim, and the small chulin cakes join the large ones to nullify the large terumah cakes in a case where large cakes of terumah became mixed in. And the Mepharshim explain, even if there are less than 100 cakes altogether, for example, there are 50 small fig cakes and 25 large ones, which are twice the weight of the small ones. A small fig cake of terumah then became mixed into the group. The halakha is that all the chulin cakes combine to nullify the cake of terumah, since the weight of the chulin cakes is 100 times more than the terumah cake. All you have to do is remove, in the case of the Gedolim Malin Taktanim, the large ones join the small ones, all you have to do is remove one small cake and the rest of the cakes are permitted. And the same thing by the small chulin joining the large ones to nullify the large cake. For example, a large fig cake became mixed into a group of 50 large cakes of chulin and 50 small ones. The cake of terumah is nullified since there are 100 cakes of chulin, even though there are only 50 cakes of its weight. The Chachamim were even more lenient here, and they considered the cake of terumah nullified even though the total weight of the cakes is less than 100 times the weight of the cake of the terumah. As long as there's 100 even as long as there's 50 cakes of its weight. Rabbi Eliezer Oser, in all the above cases, Rabbi Eliezer forbids all the chulin figs that are of the same type as the terumah. For example, if a white fig of terumah became mixed into a mixture of 50 white and 50 black figs of chulin, all the white figs are forbidden to a non-Kohen. Rabbi Eliezer disagrees with Rabbi Yeshua because he holds that since the black figs look different from the white ones and certainly are chulin, they cannot be viewed as part of the mixture. And on top of that, if the color of the fig of terumah that became mixed in it is not known, all the figs are asur. For example, if a terumah fig of an unknown color became mixed into a mixture of 100 white and black chulin figs, it is not nullified. And the reason for this, obviously according to Rabbi Eliezer, the reason for this is like this. Although we do not know the color of the fig that became mixed in, it was definitely either white or black. So if we would know its color, it would not be nullified regardless of the color, since only figs of that color are counted to nullify it, and there are not enough figs of either color to nullify the terumah. Therefore, the fact that we don't know the color of the fig doesn't change the outcome, and therefore the fig is not nullified. And Rabbi Akiva says, "Biyadua ma nafla en ma'alot zo et zo, she'enu yadua ma nafla ma'alot zo et zo." Rabbi Akiva takes the middle ground. He says, "Biyadua ma shenafla," when it is known what type of terumah fell into the chulin, and ma'alot zo et zo, each type of chulin does not nullify terumah figs of the other type, and all the figs that are of the same type as the fig of terumah are forbidden. Rabbi Akiva agrees with Rabbi Eliezer's ruling on that point, that since any fig that is definitely not the terumah fig can be eaten by a non-Kohen, for example, if a black fig fell into the mixture, all the white ones are permitted, right? The permitted figs cannot count toward the 100 parts of chulin needed to nullify the terumah, the black fig. Therefore, all the figs that are of the same type as the fig of terumah cannot be eaten. However, when it is not known what type of terumah fell in, ma'alot zo et zo, then each type nullifies terumah figs of the other type, and all the figs are allowed. Here, Rabbi Akiva does not agree with Rabbi Eliezer. He says, since a non-Kohen cannot eat any of the figs in the mixture, since any of them could be the terumah, you don't know which one it is, all the figs in the mixture count toward the 100 part chulin needed to nullify the terumah. Therefore, the terumah is nullified, and after removing one fig of either type, white and black, from the mixture, all the other ones are permitted. And the Rav tells us V'alacha ke Rabbi Akiva, v'alacha ke Rabbi Akiva. The Rav says the halacha follows the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, who takes the middle ground. And B'ezrat Hashem, we will see in the next Mishnah examples of how Rabbi Akiva's ruling in this Mishnah applies. But again, the Rav says the halacha does follow the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, who takes the middle ground. That is in Rabotai today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen v'amen.